Hey guys, I'm Mike Bjorkman of Team Bjorkman, along with
Tammy Edwards of Team Bjorkman.
Absolutely, and welcome back to our podcast. It's been a couple weeks. I apologize. Tammy, there's something that's weighing heavy on my heart this week. There's a lot of confusion on social media, in the media in general, and these large data companies and discount real estate brokerages are confusing our beloved clients.
Right.
Client I had the other day for 25 years called me and said, Mike, Redfin is willing to sell my house for 4%. Will you meet that? Can you match that? And I said, you know what? I would love to. When can we get together and talk about it? So it leads me to think, there's a lot of other friends, a lot of other clients, and a lot of other good people that want to save some money when selling their house, but they need to know the truth and what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to go out there and say it. There's a few companies, like I already said, Redfin, Purple Bricks, Open Listings. There's different companies that say, look, and Rex, right? Rex REX is a big one. They say you don't need a traditional real estate agent, or we are traditional real estate agents just offering you a lot better value. And I just want to touch on a few points, right? So first of all, let's just start with the Redfin. If somebody sells the home for 4%, and we all know 2.5% to 3% should go to the agent representing the buyer, right?
Right.
So there's 1% left. Now, let's talk about marketing. Do homes sell themselves?
Absolutely not.
Pretty simple, right?
Absolutely not.
And let's just be honest. How much do you feel that Team Bjorkman will spend marketing a single property?
Thousands. It's thousands.
Right.
I mean, I know that. I pay the bills.
Yeah. So it's typically about 1%.
Yeah.
Right. So if Team Bjorkman's willing...
Yeah, and the more expensive the home, the more expensive the advertising as well.
Yeah, absolutely, right? We got a much wider reach. So if we spend 1% marketing a home, but yet Redfin can sell it for that, where is the disconnect? Where do you feel that they're losing?
Well, they're not going to lose out on their paycheck. We know that. So they're definitely not going to do the marketing.
Right.
And Mike, and I think where people are getting a little bit confused in all this is we were in a market for a while there where it was a seller's market. And the marketing, it mattered, but today it's all about the marketing. And that's where we're going to see the big disconnect and the big switch between the discount brokers and the full service agents, because marketing does matter.
Right. If we know that over 90% of all the buyers' hands are in real estate agents, we need to sell the home twice, right? First to the agents that have all the buyers, and then to the public. So let's say we were putting a home on the market today, and it might need a little bit of paint, a little bit of carpet cleanup, carpet cleaning. It might need a little, whatever it needs. Let's say sprucing up for the next 7 to 10 days. During that 7 to 10 days, talk to me about our pre-marketing campaign.
Well, so during that time, that is when we are, first of all, we're educating all of the agents that we have in our database. We're educating the agents that we know to have buyers in their pocket that are actively looking. Not only that, they're buyers that are well qualified and ready to go. That's the number one thing that we're doing. We're also in that time where we're prepping all of our social media campaigns, and we're ordering the photos and the video tour. We're doing our pre-marketing, which while they're doing the paint inside, we can get some outside shots, some aerial shots of the neighborhood, and we can start putting that out on social media right away. So during this time, we're already marketing the home before we ever even think about getting it into the MLS.
Right. So another thing I wanted to point out, so what that says to me is homes that actually hit those websites, the Zillows, the Realtor.com, those are kind of homes that are either A, overpriced, or B, they're already been sifted through. Nobody wants them. So if it's overpriced, nobody wants it, or the condition. So in the background, people need to understand we're selling houses like crazy. In Santa Clarita alone, there's 1,500 agents, and you see signs go up and down with sold signs on them. That's why. So if the general public feels they could wait for a home to pop up on Redfin, nobody's going to want that home because it's simply either A, overpriced, or bad condition, because people in the know that homes that make it to those websites are no good. So the other thing I wanted to point out is there's a death time on a home for sale. It's 30 days. Once you hit 30 days, price reductions are a must, and people start to wonder, what's wrong with that home? Why didn't it sell? Right. So with our pre-marketing campaign you were just talking about, we can effectively take let's say a home goes on the market 1 week, a sign goes up, some calls are made. Week 2, a typical agent will start putting some photos out. Week 3 is typically an optimal time to get a home sold. Well, now you're only a week away from 30 days. That can't be. So with our pre-marketing campaign, we hit the market day 1, like it's week 3.
Right.
And that makes a really big difference.
We've done the whole ramp
Yeah.
up.
We don't want our homes to ever sit on the market for 30 days. And sometimes, if they're overpriced, you're not going to be able to handle that. So for all the people that think that putting their home on a website like Realtor.com or Zillow or Redfin or any of these sites is going to sell their home, let's just honestly say it, it's not going to. And when it does hit that 30-day period, the offers that come in are really low, and they grind you on home inspections, and they're really spending more on negotiating in a downward fashion than they would be paying a typical commission. Because let's face it, the owner has to pay for their own marketing, and if that's all they're going to pay for is the tech company's commission, they're going to lose out. They're going to lose a lot more than they thought by saving commission. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And something else I want to touch on, I want to use a real life scenario, something that happened with Team Bjorkman, is we were representing a buyer, and the seller was represented by one of the discount brokers.
Purple bricks.
And he's just going to throw it right out there.
Yeah,
and
I have no issues.
Yeah, and so 5 offers on this property. And I knew that my buyers were willing to go 10,000 higher than which they wrote at. And but we went in at full price. So I said, expect the seller multiple counter, and then we'll go up. They went into it knowing that they would go up another 10,000, but said, but I knew that they would probably go up another 15 because this house was really sharp. So I get a call from the agent, and he says, you got a really good reputation. We know you don't play games, so we're just going to accept your offer. Okay, that's awesome, right? So right away, I've just saved my client $10,000. Seller's lost 10, but my client has saved 10. So we get to the home inspection. Home inspection's not bad at all. Probably about $500. If I said, let's ask for $2,000, they're like, well, I don't know if we need to. And I'm like, let's just do it. Let's just try. I've got a good hunch on this one. So we asked for $2,000. Again, same phone call. I just don't really want to deal with it. We just want to wrap it up, and so we're just going to give you the $2,000. Okay. So right there alone, the seller lost $12,000. The purchase price, the sales price of the home was $500,000. So the commission that they saved, they'd only saved $10,000. But we know that there was another $5,000 at least on the table, probably from my clients, and who knows where those other 4 offers would have gone.
Right.
So, in an effort to save $8,000 to $10,000, this seller actually lost closer to 15 to 20.
Right. And so the reality is, if you're a discount broker and you're not making any money, let's say you do work for that company and they only charge you, I'm not even sure what they charge you, $3,600 or something like that. Well, most of that money is going to go to Purple Bricks, right? So the rest goes to the agent. So now we have an agent working for free. They're not going to spend any time on marketing. They're not going to spend any time negotiating. They have no vested interest in this client, right? So it's fair. It's normal. We're humans. Do you want to work for free? I sure don't. So obviously the agent doesn't give a crap and says, screw it. Let the sellers pay the price. They're dumb enough to call a discount broker, then that's what's going to happen. I wanted to tell a story too. Rex, R-E-X, right? There's billboards all over this town.
Crazy concept.
I actually met the owner years ago, and he said, I'm going to put you guys out of business. I said, okay, cool. He's got 4,000 square feet in the Warner Center. He pays like $50,000 a month in rent. Just try to have all these computers. So these billboards are saying, we don't need a typical real estate agent.
Right.
We charge a flat 2%, okay? So what they don't tell you is you need the MLS, right? Because the MLS is where all the agents go. So if all the agents can't represent you, you're forcing time on the market, back to that 30-day market. So now Rex says, all we need is our website. Well, they do a great job on social media, but not everybody's buying a home off of social media, right? They will retarget you and hunt you down. But the fact of the matter is, again, you have an agent that nobody's ever heard of. God only knows if they've ever sold a home before. They're on some kind of weird split and weird salary.
They make it impossible to show the properties.
Yeah, you can't get into the properties. So when a buyer calls an agent, the agent's going to go, oh, no, you can't get into that. What is an agent going to do, right? They can't get represented. The buyer has no representation. Nobody wants that. So they think they're saving this money. So I have a phone call. I got to make a phone call back to this person deciding what to do. They've been on the market 3 months with a Rex agent, if they even have an agent, this Rex robot, somebody that they say doesn't call back, doesn't show up, doesn't do anything. And they're saying, look, Mike, I've lost 3 months of marketing time. My house is worth $675. And I'm like, really? 3 months ago, it was worth $675. Today, 625. You blew the last 3 months as the market went down fast. Now, not only do you have to pay a normal commission, which you should have paid in the beginning to get the job done right, but you lost $50,000 in this waste process. Not only that, they made a $3,500 house payment 3 times more than they had to. And so literally, they're probably in this whole process by trying to save a couple bucks on a commission because they felt that the realtor wasn't worth their value. Now they're learning a $100,000 mistake by the time this is all said and done. Yet, the owner of Rex can have billboards all over town saying you don't need a traditional real estate agent anymore.
I have my grandmother in the back of my head saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, really.
And I'll do another be honest. Do real estate agents make a lot of money? No, they don't. The average real estate agent makes $18,500 a year. Good ones like us, yeah, we make a lot of money. Why? Because we spend a lot of money on marketing. We spend a lot of money on education. We sell way more homes than the average agent. When you sell way more homes than the average agent, we have a lot more of a database to call through. Therefore, we sell homes faster and for more money. So there's so many of these stories. There's so many of these companies. People say, oh, well, I'm just going to put my home on Zillow. Great, let's talk about that. I have a friend in Salt Lake City right now, puts his home for sale by owner on Zillow. It's been there 4 or 5 months. He's had 0 offers except for investors that go to those cheap, get a good deal investor classes that say, go to Zillow and write super lowball offers. And if you write 1 or if you write 100, one idiot is gonna take your offer. So wait a minute. We put our home on the market for sale by owner to try to save the commission. So if they were to take that lowball investor offer, an investor is going to offer 20 to 30% lower. Now, is that your intention to take all the risk, do 0 marketing, take forever to get it done, and then out of desperation accept the lowball offer? I mean, that's not the seller's intentions, right?
Right.
So now we get ego involved, and now they're afraid to call me. I run into them at a function or a charity thing, and I say, how's that going? And they just cringe, they run, they cry. I'll never do that again. And it breaks my heart. Because can you and I as agents give certain deals to friends and past clients and the general public? Yeah, but we know, we're professionals. We know exactly how long it'll take to sell the home, who the buyer is, how much money we're going to spend in marketing, and we can adjust our commission in a downward fashion if it's at all possible. Again, we'll never work for free. The homeowner's always going to pay for their own marketing. But let's be honest, this is the only industry that I know of, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we take all the risk, spend all the money up front, knowing that we could be fired at any second.
Yeah.
I can't even get a plumber to come to my house for less than $100, right?
Well, you know, I mean, we had a listing last week. We spent a few thousand. It was a newer listing, but spent a few thousand, and all of a sudden they decided, you know what? We actually love our home and we don't want to sell. And we're just out the money. So you're right.
A few $1,000s on that,
Yeah.
right?
Cried a little.
Yeah, and then then the general public goes, well, it's because of people like that we have to pay these exorbitant commissions. No, it's not.
No.
It's the heartache that we endure as real estate agents. But you know what? Could you go right now and get a job at Redfin for $65,000 a year and some benefits?
Sure.
Would you do the absolute best job in the entire world for your clients if you knew you were losing money being a real estate agent? Bad question, because we know you.
Here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. This job requires so much emotionally, again, literally, to do this job right and to do it at the level that we do. It takes so much emotionally because you care so passionately about your clients and their well-being and them getting the most amount of money and all of that. And it's worth it because it's my job. But if I'm somewhere where I'm getting my paycheck either way at 5 o'clock, I'm checking out. I called a Redfin agent just yesterday, and it says, I answer my phone between the hours of blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? I answer the phone at midnight. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
So you accountability. You're much more accountable when you know someone is really paying they're paying for my service, so they're going to get it.
Yeah, and I like to tell our clients, look, it's very realistic. You're going to pay somebody a good amount of commission, 2 to 2.5 to 3%, to bring you a buyer. It's not easy to find a flipping buyer, right? That agent freaking deserves that commission. You have no idea what they've gone through. So that's that part. But what about us, the marketing agents, right? It's because of our marketing sometimes that particular buyer finds that house. We don't get paid extra for that. So if there's 1% that the seller pays in their own marketing, That's normal. That makes sense.
Right.
If you want professional representation, somebody that's an unbelievable negotiator, you're going to have to pay somebody for that. And then the overhead is ridiculous. The taxes are ridiculous. These commissions are not what they are because it's just we want to make a lot of money. It doesn't work like that. The crap we go through as real estate agents, you're going to pay the price to get top market and fair. You know, I always say, look, I know when I go buy a car, somebody's getting a commission. I usually go directly to the owner of the dealer because they're all my friends. But I know they slip it over poor Bobby.
All the owners of the dealers are my friends. I'm Mike Bjorkman.
Well, hell yeah. Always go to the top, right?
Well, you know, Mike, we said we were going to do a 2 to 3 minute spiel on discount brokers. We're at 15 minutes.
Absolutely, and I can go
Because
an
we
hour.
are passionate about this. We are so passionate about it. But I think that they get the idea.
But
right?
let me finish this one part about the car.
Oh, here we go.
Bobby's going to get the commission, and I know I'm going to pay tax and license, which is 10%. Every time I buy a car, if it's 50 grand, I know it's really 55.
Right.
And those costs are built in my mind, and that's just the way it is. In real estate, we could try to fudge a little bit, but it's not going to work. It
Right.
just doesn't work. In the end, the homeowner is going to take it in the rear, and it's going to hurt bad, and then they're going to be mad. Do the right thing. Call your local trusted real estate agent. At least give them the opportunity to show you why they're better, why their marketing is better, and hopefully they have enough talent like we do to explain to them how they're really not saving any money.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, I got passionate about that.
Give your agent the opportunity to turn you down rather than let you down,
Yeah,
basically.
and that's another point. How many times do we do that? We cannot do what those other people claim to do without having a guilty conscience. We're not going to be able to put a sign up and just have a buyer appear out of nowhere and have it be a smooth. It's just not real. So we do that. We reach out and we shake their hand. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'd rather turn you down than let you down. And 9 times out of 10, they say, well, what does that mean? I mean, I can't work for you. It's not realistic. It's
Right.
like you going to work, not getting a paycheck, showing up early and staying up late, working for free, and by the way, you only have to work 2 days a week. It's just not realistic, right?
Right.
So, drives me insane. But I want to protect our clients. Does that make sense?
He's on a soapbox, folks.
Well, all right. Well,
I
you
love you,
guys,
Mike. You're awesome.
our loyal clients,
Yeah.
our beloved friends that are in the real estate business, help spread the word. We appreciate you listening and sharing the episode and giving us a 5-star rating. This podcast is very new, and we like it to be consumer-facing, so the general public can actually benefit from what we're saying in our combined almost 50 years of real estate experience. Ready?
Awesome.
Okay, guys, we love you.
Okay.
We'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.